Newly released Obamacare numbers reveal that 2.2 million people selected a plan through the end of December, but less than a quarter of those are between the ages of 18 and 34, a group that is crucial to the law's success. So the White House is calling in the star power once again in the hopes of driving young people to enroll before the March 31 deadline. This week, basketball legends Magic Johnson and Alonzo Mourning began appearing in TV ads airing nationally during NBA games.
You never know when you're going to need it. It's very important. Young people, they think they're Superman, like nothing's ever going to happen to them. But trust me, one day something's going to happen, and you're going to need a quality health plan. So make sure you get Obamacare.
We're back with Dan Henninger and Joe Rago, and Wall Street Journal columnist Brett Stevens also joins the panel. So, Joe, how much are the enrollment figures below the target that the administration had?
Well, what they're shooting for is about 7 million by the end of March, and ultimately we need about 20 million people to sign up. So this is really well below target.
So they have 2.2 million now. 2.2
million right now. And if you think about, I mean, 1 in 6 people in this country under 65 lack insurance coverage.
Was that 35, 40 million people?
At least officially. So they're either looking at the exchanges and finding that Obamacare plans aren't offering them a good value, or they're buying health plans off the exchanges where the regulations are somewhat looser and they can be tailored to individual needs.
And they're skewed. Go ahead, Brett.
Oh, this is 2.2 million who have signed up, not necessarily who've gotten insurance, while
or written the check to pay for it.
Right, and then another 5 million people who have canceled, have had their insurance policies canceled. So in terms of overall figures, we're actually in a hole here.
What about the actuarial, to use an insurance term, status here? That we really don't know the health status of these enrollees, but so far they seem to be skewing older. That is, about a third of them are between 55 and 64. Not enough young people. That probably means not as healthy a pool as you need.
Right. Age is a crude proxy for health status, which is what really matters. In normal insurance markets, people would be charged premiums based on their risk, so it really doesn't matter who signs up. Here, so
young people pay less, and if you're older and sicker, you pay more.
Right. But here, you need people to have cross transfers between groups, and that's
because of the Obamacare mandates, which are imposed and raise the price of insurance.
Right, and what happens over time is, and what we're already starting to see in some states, is that there's a bad mix. So premiums will surge the next year, people will drop out, and it's called a death spiral in insurance jargon.
And is that a real risk?
It's a real risk. It's not an immediate risk. It will take several years, but it's definitely a risk.
Dan, go ahead.
Well, you know, it's called in insurance terms adverse selection. But let's get back to Magic Johnson. I mean, what he's not telling those young guys sitting out there watching that NBA game is that, oh, and by the way, you're going to pay more for this insurance than these sick people.
And you're going to pay more than the penalty you'll pay if you don't buy the insurance.
Yeah, and they're sitting out there going, hey, man, if I had your income, it's okay, then I can get insurance. But this is going to be expensive for me. And I think a lot of these young people by now, because this is so publicized, are beginning to figure that out. And they don't like the terms of the deal, that they pay more so these people can pay less.
Why are insurers, Joe, so publicly at least still supportive of this? I mean, they're basically saying, yeah, rough start, difficult, but we'll get over it, and it's going to get there, even though Humana, the insurer, filed with the SEC and said, look, the pool of insured that we're getting isn't what we had hoped.
Right. I think they expected things to go badly. I don't think they expected them to go this badly.
Well, you talk to these people off the record or on background all the time. What are they telling you in private?
Well, in private, they're saying that the selection problems are much worse. The mix is bad. There was an interesting United Healthcare, which is one of the largest insurers in the country, chose to participate in just a few exchanges because they thought the problems were going to be so bad. Their CEO this week said their enrollment was so low that they could send a gift basket to every one of their enrollees, and that this was a good thing for shareholders because their losses would be limited.
Brett, should Republicans run against this idea that there's going to be an insurance bailout because there's this part of Obamacare which says if the pool is as bad as Joe says it is, that there are mechanisms by which the HHS will provide money, reinsurance pool, to offset some of those
these
losses.
Risk corridors.
That's right. This is part of the law. It's designed it was written into the law. But there are some Republicans like Marco Rubio saying, you know what, this is an insurance bailout. Should Republicans be making this case?
Of course not. I mean, we shouldn't be supporting bailouts for failing industries, whether they're in finance.
No, but the Republicans are against the bailout.
That's right, and I think Marco Rubio is absolutely right. Look, there's an old expression about lying in the bed you make, and the healthcare industry, the health insurers certainly were in this bed with the Obama administration in preparing the Obamacare. I think there should be no bailout for them, and I think the law should be allowed to fail.
All right. Well, thank you all.